lighting is something that cannot be overlooked when designing your outdoor spaces. A home could look beautiful in the daytime, but without the proper lighting, can lose all of its charm by nightfall.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Casanova. I work for Creon, and I'm here with
Javier Suarez, and I'm with Linear Lighting and Control. We're lighting experts.
We work hand in hand to guide and help the homeowners to get the lighting that they want for their home.
We get illuminating advice on how to shine lights on the exterior of your home on today's SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. So there are many benefits to adding great lighting to the exterior of your home. Not only does it make the space more beautiful, but after sundown, it completely transforms it and even makes it more functional. Today, we get expert advice on lighting options for the entrance of your home, the difference between indoor and outdoor light fixtures, the do's and don'ts of landscape lighting, and so much more. Jocelyn and Javier, welcome to SoFlo Home Project.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, this is going to be a great episode for our viewers because you guys are lighting experts and you're going to share with us all about outdoor lighting.
We focus on exterior lighting that are part of the facade of the house, not just landscape lighting, anything that has to do with the outdoor as well as indoor residential.
I think the front of the house is often an area where people have questions on where do you accent the lighting? What types of lighting do you use?
Architecturally, the home has some beautiful features. So starting from the inside, I wanted to illuminate the screen door and get that reflection through the evening. We have the Ipe wood and soffits. We have this beautiful red brick. We have this black garage doors, which were incredible.
Beautiful mix of materials.
And then we moved out to the landscape lighting.
When it comes to selecting the actual fixtures, obviously they need to match the style of the architecture. And we've got a series of some down lighting, some up lighting. What do you use where?
That's one of the things interesting about us as a team, as the manufacturer perspective, and then in the guidance from the lighting designer, deciding where and which fixtures we should be using. Because, for instance, in here in the entrance of the house, we have these up and down lights,
right,
which definitely make a statement, in particular with these two black garage doors, just emphasizing where you actually needs to be aiming to. But at the same time, it's just that brick wall with the up and down lights.
It's less about the fixture and more about the feature of light that it produces. There's an idea now of putting lights inside the perimeter soffits to kind of accentuate the walls of a home. But I like a good balance of doing that. So we like to put in-ground fixtures as well to accentuate from the bottom up and then sometimes from the top down.
So you kind of have to get a balance of some up lighting and some down lighting.
Absolutely.
You don't want all of one.
Correct.
When it comes to the front of the house, are there any specific don'ts?
Probably one of the factors might be when we go very technical in terms of the color temperature, because nowadays that we're working with the LED technology, it allows us to go through a whole bunch of different colors.
Exactly.
That's when we both can say, okay, which will be ideal for that certain color temperature for the outdoor entrance of home will work the best.
So much like the interior of the home too, when the color temperature is off and doesn't match the color of the home, the style of the architecture.
Also, you know, we don't like to put certain lighting in front of windows, so you don't have that light spillage or that reflection coming off the windows. That's something that we would stay away from as well.
Okay, so placement, obviously very important. You want to highlight the right things, not the wrong things.
Correct.
So when it comes to homes that are new construction, obviously lighting designers are involved way earlier on. But when someone is remodeling, kind of how do you tackle it?
I'd actually rather the homeowner do their landscaping and then we'll come in after the fact.
So even in new construction, sometimes once the landscaping is done, you might be adding some more things just because you may have a specific tree that needs to be highlighted or something else.
You know, in South Florida, you have all types of landscaping where it can be very dense. There's areas that are very dark. You don't have a lot of ambient light from street lights. So it's important to showcase the foliage, the trees, the paths. All of these lighting fixtures make, I think, the jewelry for the home. It's small details that really bring out the beauty in the home.
And we are going to take a look at some ways that you could uplight your trees and pathways and more things for exterior lighting when we come back. Coming up, we look at the latest landscape lighting options on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing our outdoor lighting episode with lighting experts Jocelyn Casanova and Javier Suarez. We talked a little bit about the exterior lighting for the entry and the facade of the home, but we've got a lot of landscaping going on. That always needs to be addressed as well. What are some of the tips when it comes to uplighting trees and larger trees throughout the home?
So we like to use an oak lighter, which is a fairly larger fixture based on a par 36 bulb. So if you remember the old headlamps of cars, they had that globular look. This fixture is very similar. It has great projection. They come in different lumen output and beam spreads, and they tend to really wash the tree very nicely from the bottom up. You want to be able to showcase a tree and cover the entire tree, or you want to travel up the bark of the tree. You want to go with a narrow beam spread so it can shoot up the bark of the tree. And we also put lights inside the trees, usually either facing up towards the canopy, or in this case, they have beautiful staghorns. They kind of pop out at night and become the jewelry.
Absolutely. So you could highlight all of the specific features of the trees and the landscaping. Now, Jocelyn, when it's smaller trees, is it a whole different aspect to figuring out the lighting for that?
It will definitely be a different aspect because it's all about proportion.
Right.
So obviously when he was mentioning about these type of large size light bulbs, it's because we're talking about a pretty big tree. So it definitely will all depends as when it comes to the details, which side will be proportionally wise work the best. At the same time, the in-grounds on the floor either still offering the options on the square, different shapes, square, round. It will all depends of what type of tree we can definitely use in grounds as well.
Okay, so you're doing a mix of both. Mm-hmm. So you raise it obviously because of all of this that's around it. It would be lower and more flat to the ground,
sure, or
maybe in ground if it's just on turf or grass.
Like a gravel or river rock. We tend to use in-grounds for those applications, but whenever there's ground cover, we try to get, a stem so we can get it off the ground, because the ground cover eventually will grow and the trees, will cover the actual fixture. Also, a lot of these fixtures come with a very inexpensive ground stake that tends to fall over. We had a lot of rain in South Florida.
Right.
The grounds tend to swell. So we actually use a PVC tube that's about 12 to 14 inches, and then our connections go inside the tube, so they're protected, and they're much more sturdy in the ground.
So it's more secure. So I guess the one big question I have is sometimes people want to uplight with color on some of the trees for the holidays, things like that, but maybe then switch it up to white light.
We have something that is called RGB, which basically is the flexibility to play around with the different colors if they would like to have it in different seasons.
I think it's nice, and the flexibility, of course, as the technology continues to
Correct.
improve is a win-win.
Yes.
Now, we've got more outdoor lighting to talk about, and we are going to focus on pathway lighting, but before we get into that, let's check in with our friends at FHIA and see what they have going on today.
Hi, my name is Michael O'Connor with FHIA. I've now been with the company about 15 years. I get asked all the time questions about roofing and when should I change my roof. There's always the obvious, looking for leaks. So if it's a heavy rain and you're getting leaks, it's probably a good time to give us a call and get a free estimate on a roof. But there's some other things that happen to roofs that can also be a sign that it's time to change your roof. Many times we'll see sagging and waves on the roof, which means that the wood underneath the shingles is probably rotten. Another thing that you look for is granules from the shingles actually being washed off in the rain. And you'll see them on the sidewalk, you can see them in your gutters. When you're cleaning out your gutters, if they're filled with granules from your shingles, it might be a good time to change your roof. Another thing that happens with roofs over time in Florida is there's curling of the shingle. So if you walk by and you see your roof, your shingles are curling up, that means water and moisture is probably getting underneath, which could create a problem in the attic with mold. And that's another place to look for signs to change your roof. If you check your attic and there's moisture or you see wet spots on your wood, it's probably a good time to give us a call and get a free estimate on your roof.
Let Michael and all the experts at FHIA help you with your roofing project. Call FHIA Remodeling at 888-828-FHIA.
We here at FHIA make this process stress-free for the homeowner. Everything from the permit to the final inspection is included in the price. There's no surprises, and at the end, you're left with the best warranty in the market.
So when it comes to pathways, illuminating the way with lighting is truly something that we need to do.
We can do small little in-ground with eyelids that shoot the light 180 degrees parallel to the floor. We also have path lighting, which are typically 12 to 14 inches tall. In this case, we wanted to keep a low-level 12-inch path light just to illuminate, the stone pavers leading to the backyard.
Very nice, clean look. And now, Jocelyn, you've got some lanterns over here. Can those be used in lieu of actually having something in the pathway itself?
Absolutely. So we can definitely do these portables as I'm holding it right now, probably more meant to for these type of condos and those situations that they don't have a real landscape. But we also offer for these type of landscape at bigger sizes, which actually
So
will
you
help
can vary
you
the
to,
heights.
Absolutely. Since it's portable and rechargeable, it's a matter of a click at the bottom and you aim the intensity of the light.
So these are something that will not require any cords or anything, and they could just be charged and go just about anywhere in the home?
Absolutely.
This particular fixture can be put into different applications like pendants or even a
Nice.
floor lamp application, all for outdoor.
I love that.
Which really brings the inside out and the outside in.
Absolutely. You could elevate your outdoor dining experience with the lantern,
Yes.
whether it's on a balcony or lighting a pathway of a home. It's just such a great look. Coming up next, we take an up-close look at some of the exterior lighting fixtures. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing talking about all things outdoor lighting with Jocelyn Casanova with Creon and Javier Suarez with Linear Lighting and Control. So you guys have a little show and tell going on here.
Yes, landscape lighting has evolved and changed over the last few years. It's not as plug and play as it used to be. You need to calculate voltage drops, transformer placements, clusters of fixtures. Landscape lighting can go down south very quickly if you don't have the proper fixtures and maintenance to support it. So we were talking about some of the architectural features of the house. A lot of the times I will do that with this type of fixture here, which is an in-ground fixture that has a beautiful optic that allows you to adjust the beam spread. So I can go tighter and travel up the wall, or I can go wider to accentuate, a different effect.
Do those go in different sizes or this is probably the most
That's the
popular size?
most used size that has the ability to be able
beam spread.
to affect the beam spread and or the wattage. Also, these can tilt. So if you have to come off center because of a column or something, you can actually direct the light left or right to be able
Kind
to
of
get it.
correct to get it just perfect.
Or like we mentioned on the oak lighters, a couple different ways of doing that.
Okay.
Or this particular fixture, which happens to be one of my favorites, and you can feel the weight of that. So you can see
Oh,
the
wow.
quality.
So it's much heavier than it
Yes.
looks. And this is the cast brass.
This is cast brass, so it's a bronze on brass finish.
Very
It's got a
strong.
nice shroud that you can always remove. If you wanted to put something, longer, you can put color filters. And this has the same feature as the in-ground that allows you to adjust the beam spread. And you can actually adjust the lumen output, go from 1 to 18 watts. So as that tree grows, you don't have to change the fixture.
So what's really nice about these is when your foliage, when the trees, everything grows, this allows you to adjust accordingly.
Yes. Landscape lighting has evolved. Many years ago, you could do 6 fixtures to a transformer, 50-watt bulbs. and your transformer was maxed out. Now you can do 20, 25 fixtures to a transformer, so it's actually gotten less expensive to do landscape lighting in the grand scheme of
That's
things.
good. We always love to save a little
Yes.
where we can, right? Now, Jocelyn, you've got a few more items over here on this side, and I also see some color swatches.
Sure. So as we were mentioning before, when we're talking about in-ground pieces, this is one of my favorites. So what the beauty of it, and I will give you the chance to also weigh it because it makes it different when you hold it.
Definitely feels like a good quality piece, and it looks beautiful.
Just how elegant and clean,
Yes.
architectural. Even though it's an outdoor feature, you still see the architectural look behind it.
Absolutely.
So this one, what we call side inline. So basically, you have the ability to change the back plate on these pieces.
Nice. So with the color, obviously you want to try to match the exterior color of the house or the detail of where it's going,
Sure.
or is it sometimes ideal to contrast? Is it mostly about matching with these colors?
It
Blending?
depends. To be honest, Alena is more into giving the opportunity to the homeowner to have flexibility on different colors. So
That
we
looks real
offer
easy. You just pop that right
very
off.
easy just to put it out. I'm not touching anything of the electricity, and you just basically
Oh,
change
fun.
the
Okay.
back plate. And we would like to have a accent color
it's a
copper.
nice way to bring those accents that might be elsewhere in the exterior of the home. I love that.
So you basically seems to have a whole new feature, and you just basically put it back in and click it, and you have a whole new piece.
Easy to change out too. If in time you change the exterior of the home, you still had these lights, you
Sure.
could order different
Absolutely.
plates to switch it up.
Absolutely. Last but not least important, really quick, the projector type of light sources. But what is unique about it, that it will give you also the option if we want to go with a pathway, or even on the wall as a downlight, or even on the ceiling again.
So it's
as a
really
completely
versatile.
Absolutely.
This is a great picture. And of course, I love here that a lot of it you're going with the bronze tones.
Yes.
Seemingly, you said maybe one of the most popular finishes.
It is.
And we've got a lot more to continue with when it comes to exterior lighting for your home when we come back. Next, we look at the versatility of perimeter lighting on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing our outdoor lighting episode with lighting experts Jocelyn Casanova and Javier Suarez. So Jocelyn and Javier, we've talked about a lot of different options, but one thing we didn't cover yet is perimeter lighting.
Yeah, so perimeter lighting is also equally important. You want to be able to define your property line, your fence, whether you do, some clusias or some portocarpus. You want to maybe accentuate, that perimeter wall, putting fixtures every 6 to 8 feet.
6 to 8 feet. That pretty much standard no matter what size.
Yeah, again, you don't want to overdo it. It's you have to kind of look at the landscape and see what makes sense. The good thing about low voltage lighting is you can always add.
That's great advice. You kind of get your basics, and then as things grow, as you add things, you could add to the lighting as well.
Correct.
One of my favorite or tendency to go with on the outdoor lighting, I will stick with the in-grounds because I personally like when the light disappears into the space, which I don't even see where it's coming from. Giving still that punch of light into the landscape, it's just that kind of architectural look, disappearing the light, and you don't even see where the light is coming from. That it will be my tendency where I go to usually. And there's certain characteristics that we call, for instance, the quality of the product itself, that it's completely sealed, so nothing is going to happen when it's outside with the water, as well as perhaps down here in South Florida, that is so important with the ocean and the salting from the water that it could get rusted really quick.
I really enjoy talking with both of you, and of course, touring this beautiful property to see just some great tips on ways to do really good exterior lighting. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let's take a look at what design inspiration we have planned for you next week on SoFlo Home Project. We look at what makes a property a dream home. Your perfect home is more than just a house. It's the version of the lifestyle you want within those walls. And before we go, let's check in with Hunter Frankie, the host of SoFlo Health, and see what he has going on tomorrow. Hunter, what's up?
Hey Alena, tomorrow on SoFlo Health, we head to a local park that gives us a glimpse of what Florida was like before development. It even has a hidden orange grove from the 40s. Dr. Sam Rasool has a massage for your sinuses? Yeah, I know, but trust me, if you have allergies, you won't want to miss this. We'll tour a yacht, talk about the health benefits of fishing, and more tomorrow on SoFlo Health at 12:30 p.m. right here on Local 10.
Thanks, Hunter. That sounds great. And to our viewers at home, thanks for joining us this week. And we hope to see you again next week for another episode of SoFlo Home Project right here on Local 10. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at SoFloShows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram.